were 2,500 people within the Indian market, and now we're about 14,000 people, so which is also shown as a testament to our investment in the Indian market and building our capabilities for the market as well as from a global perspective as well. What you see on the slide, I just realized, what you see on the slide behind me is actually a wide variety of industries that we have customers in. So what you will notice is the size and scale of our customers across different industries, and the fact that they do a lot of variety of work with us, whether it's in sales or service or marketing or analytics or integration. The scope will, and more, but there's a lot of different types of work that our customers do with us, regardless of the size of our, size and scale that they might have in the operations as well. But today we're here to talk to you about the agentic revolution, and I know my colleagues are going to talk a little bit more about it. But what is happening here is that we, just actually as a show of hand, how many of us have used something agentic over the last 24 hours?
140 customers. We have 450 staff across our business. We have 150 of those in Bangalore. We have a shared service centre in Bangalore where we have operated for now 20 years. The company's about 18 years old. So how do we get to partner with Salesforce? I think when you're a business growing as quickly as ours, our business is very high sales focused. We're a very sales intense company. Our markets in UAE are quite small, so we have to be quite aggressive in terms of how we go about finding business. And then we've expanded significantly into the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I'm sure many of you know a lot of the growth in the Middle East at the moment, and actually globally, is really fueled by two economies, one being India and one being the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. They're the fastest growing economies really in the world at the moment. So for us, we've had to, in the last 2 years, upgrade all of our technology. And for us, really, the main choice for us from a CRM perspective, or how do you look after your customers and how do you manage your sales processes, there was only really one choice for us, which was to go with Salesforce, because it's the #1 CRM globally. And we feel that that's the right choice to make based on the size and growth of our business. We are a very technology-focused business. We have invested a lot over the last couple of years to try to digitalise all aspects of our business. And what we've come today to talk about is the use of Agentforce across our business, which for us has been a huge success. I think we're one of only a few or a handful of customers of Salesforce across the globe who have actually engaged with this and now have agentic workers who are going out and trying to find new sales and new customers for us. So I put it very simplistically. So it's been a really good journey for us. What we've seen over this period of time is we have 2 agents, and these agents are either finding leads, i.e. trying to find new customers, and it's completely automated, or they are then engaging with these leads, which is for us very important. The biggest challenge, I think, for any sales-orientated business at the moment globally is the cost of customer acquisition. How much does it cost you to get a new customer? And many companies don't look at this, right? And the cost is not just, it's a financial cost, but it's also time, right? It's like, how long does it take you to find, what's the average deal cycle? Now for us, we kind of see deal cycles around 3 to 4 months. And what we're seeing now with Agentforce is actually we see those timings being halved. We think that now we're seeing if we can get somebody coming through on Agentforce, it's more like 2 months. So we've seen some really good stats here in our business, which is, for instance, the response rate. Most of you will get cold emails, right? You'll get emails from people trying to sell you stuff. What do you do with that? Most people just delete it, right? But what we're seeing now with Agentforce is that customers will engage with it. Okay, so they'll get an email from us saying we'd like to talk to you about our business. Very friendly email, but we don't hide the fact that this is from an agent. It actually, in the signature, it says it's an agent. So doing what are the conversation it's having in the sort of sidebar of the Salesforce screen. So it's very powerful. It's very open. So I don't feel that we have any challenges. We did a lot of testing, so we did a lot of UAT, we did a lot of making sure that this would work, because again, reputation-wise for us, UAE is a small market, Saudi is a small market, as compared to say India, right? So we had a lot of testing, and we made sure that we had to get that right. And you know, touch wood, we have absolutely no issues so far. The agent's got a bit awry, but they haven't. But it's not a problem. It's just sometimes you have failures in how it operates. But it's been very positive so far.
Hi, this question is for Richard. So TASC is an Indian company and you're operating in GCC, and India being the powerhouse for manpower. So I'm curious to know, why aren't you operating in India? What are your plans for India?
Okay, so thank you for that. It's very interesting. Our company's been going. We've been around for 18 years. We have Indian owner, founder, and CEO, Mahesh Yadav, and our business. We have, as I said, we've got an operation in Bangalore, which is our one of the shared service centres, do all of our kind of processing, etc., for our business across the Middle East. We've kind of toyed with India for a while, and whether we should come back and actually open a business here. And actually, yes, one of my jobs for this year was to expand our company globally into at least one market in 2026. And we've over the last couple of months, we've been working quite hard on this. And actually, Salesforce actually helped us as well as we visited their GCC in Hyderabad to understand how does that work. And yesterday, we finally signed off as a board that we will bring our staffing business into India in Q1 of 2026. So that's a really big move for our business. So we will now start to do commercial staffing operations from the start of 2026. So we're into my next job now is to set this all up. So yeah, thank you for the question.
My question is to Richard. How do you plan to leverage your position, company position?
Sorry, start again. Sorry.
Yeah. How do you plan to leverage your company's position with the Agentforce platform for talent acquisition and workforce management?
So, from a workforce management perspective, we're not leveraging within Salesforce at the moment. We have different parts of our technology ecosystem. So from our Salesforce is very much sales and marketing. So it's all about how do you generate leads, how do you get more contacts, how can you leverage your customer database that you have. From a workforce perspective, we've gone down a very specific track this year. Actually, I'm sorry, I hope you're okay with me talking about this, but it's not competitive. It's my own. One of the things we're doing as a business as well, as I said to you, we're very innovative. We actually have created our own recruiting platform, an AI recruiting platform with 10 agents. So a very, very specific platform that will just take care of all of the hiring for clients and also our own business now from an AI perspective. That's again hopefully going live at the start of January. So we're kind of used our strategy in AI, and we've really pushed hard this year. Our strategy in AI is to use great partners like Salesforce, like where we feel we don't have that expertise, then we will use a great company like Salesforce, right? It's the best CRM in the world. Where we have experience and where we have expertise, say, in recruitment and, as you say, resource management, then we're trying to leverage those skills to build some of our own products as well at the moment, because that lends itself to us being able to take all the things that we've learned from AI and our experience. And again, the one thing I would say, which I think is so encouraging about India, is that our two partners for our two AI products in India are sensational. Actually three. The partner who helped us with this as well, Real Fast AI, who did the Salesforce AI work with us. India is amazing from a workforce perspective, a technology perspective, and from an expertise. It's just amazing. So there's a good future there for sure.
Are you planning to engage more products from Salesforce in the future?
I think yes, we are. I mean, I think the key. I think that I think the question the young lady said over here, which was, what do you expect revenue-wise, right? Again, for all of the products you take from any technology provider, there's always a license fee, right? And there's always a return that's required. For us, what I would say with Salesforce is the partnership is successful because it's growing continually. And I think the one point that was made was around listening to customers. And I sort of call that a different thing, which is like, we call that co-creation. So if Salesforce can come to us and co-create and say, listen, Richard, this is something we think would really help you, and I think your business would benefit from this, then we would always listen, right? We're always going to do that. So I can only see our partnership growing further into the future for sure. And I think if I look at how our business has grown, I think where we were from a kind of how many users we had and how we have now, it's significantly more. And I think some of our other parts of our business are also now starting to see what solutions can Salesforce brings.
Thank you.
One more question to Richard, and then both.
Here it is mentioned, this question is for Richard actually, that TASC has chosen Salesforce to unify its sales and marketing operations and ultimately drive revenue growth from it. So the first question is, why Salesforce was the best choice for this for you? And secondly, what is the revenue projection that you are expecting post-deployment?
Okay, that's a good question. So why do we choose Salesforce as the first one? So for us, our technology strategy in our company is one of high investment. So we feel technology should be at the centre of our business. Our business is high growth. TASC has had circa 28% CAGR growth over 18 years. We have grown significantly in that period of time. And for us, we see that growth continuing with our plans to expand. And for us, we wanted to invest in a system which would be able to grow with us. We wanted a system that would allow us to integrate easily with the rest of our technology ecosystem, with our ERP and other parts of our business. And Salesforce gave us that opportunity. I think it also allows us to grow in terms of innovation. Innovation is a major part of our company strategy. And I think unless you're with a tier one provider who is able to invest huge amounts of money, if you look at the level of investment that Salesforce put in globally into their different parts of their software, there's no comparison. One thing we do like as well is that they have a great kind of marketplace. So we have some other kind of products that sit around outside the ecosystem of Salesforce, but those have native integrations. So it makes it very easy for you to then just plug and play those applications back into Salesforce, which again removes all manual handoffs. It makes our sales team's life a lot easier. And generally, I think the main thing is it allows us to grow. It allows us to grow with Salesforce and vice versa. That's important. What do I expect from the revenue from it? So that's a great question, and the CEO of our company is also asking me, Richard, all of this investment you're making in technology, what's the return on it? So, what for me, what we're seeing at the moment is that you see in the press that over the last, I think there's been a few articles recently where there's been huge amounts of investment in AI, and what's happened is that there's not been much return for it. That's what we're hearing, right? You've seen lots of reports on that. But for us, our strategy on this is to take small steps. Okay, so for us, our investment here is a small step, but a really valuable step, right? Because you have to try different parts of innovation and technology. So if we take this, we're probably the first people in the Middle East to do this. And for us, it was like worth doing because the investment was actually it wasn't huge. It wasn't going to break the company. But if it was to work, then it would give us a really good return. So we do an ROI, return on investment, on all the investments we do in technology, and we look at, okay, what's the outcome of this? Could it help us? So we're very careful in that respect. What would I expect to happen here? In the first 12 months, I expected that of all the costs that I put into this, I expected to break even. I just wanted to break even to start with. Because there's very few, and the guys can tell you here, not many people are doing this piece of work that we are globally. So for us it was, can we break even? Now, once we've proven the model, now we can start to accelerate it. And then we can start to see this really making some headway. I would like to think that our salespeople could at least get a couple of client contracts, maybe 2 or 3 signed a year through this agentic workflow. That's what I'd like to aim for. Is that okay? I didn't give you a number, I'm so sorry. I know you are 1+. We can now put that criteria into Salesforce, and the agent will go and find you. Whoever you are in this room, it will find you if your details are somewhere out there, right? And then we can contact you. But that work would have taken somebody 2 weeks. Now it takes an afternoon. Actually, it takes probably an hour. And you can be so specific. So the salespeople now are then armed with that data, right? And they can then get the agent to start the conversation, right? So you'll get your email, and you might want to engage. You might say, yeah, I'd like to have a conversation with this other newspaper. Then the salesperson is then freed up from their time to have a more valuable conversation with you as a candidate, right? They can talk to you, right? Or as a salesperson, they can talk to you, okay, very, very clearly. And they got more time to do that. So I think the art of the deal, though, as well, when you want to close a deal, the AI is not going to close the deal. It's not going to happen, right? Not in our B2B world. It's not going to happen. So I think we feel that it's a way of taking away the manual work, getting people then to engage, and then it's just more efficient, and then reduces the cost and the speed, increases the speed.
Really love that question in terms of hallucinations, because that's like really real conversation that a lot of our customers actually ask. And that is why, like, when you have the Agentforce 360 platform, where we start out with the very basic needs of trust, which is the access to the data, making sure that the data that you're accessing is what you have actually access control over, right? And then to kind of make sure that you give the observability for the outputs that the AI actually generates, right? Because it is important, right? Like if, let's say, a regulator asks a financial organization 6 months later saying, why did you actually give this particular offer to the customer through your AI bot? You should have the details in terms of, okay, here is the context that I knew about the customer. Here was our product marketing brochures that we used at that point of time. So that observability, the traceability is extremely important. And this is how we actually ensure that the explainability of what an AI is really put in place. This then builds trust, right, with both the customers as well as their end users.
Can I just add on? That's a really good point, because in the solution we have, the conversations with the potential client is all visible to everybody in the company. So you can see how the AI agent is interfacing with the potential client. You can see the email, you can see the communication. Anytime the contact wants to jump out of that conversation in email and speak to somebody, it's instantaneous. So I think what Salesforce has done a good job of is really making that visibility there. And you've got an audit trail as well. So if something does go wrong, you can go back and you can see that audit trail, and you can investigate it. And that allows you to improve the interaction with the agent as well. So it's a really neat solution. It's very visible, it's very open, it's very transparent. So yeah, it's good.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello. Oh, okay, over here. Mr. Richard, first of all, congratulations.
So you're right. The adoption of AI tools is not easy. You're absolutely correct. People are scared. And people also maybe see that, will this be the end of my role? Right? That's what they see. People are scared. So we, in our business, we see adoption. We don't just have AI in this from a Salesforce perspective. We have it also from other areas of our business as well. And adoption is not as good as it could be. So it's about encouraging. It's also about reassuring. I think when you see adoption increase is when, so for instance, one guy in our business yesterday signed a contract which was a result of this product. It was the first one we've actually fully signed, which for us was a great result, right? So it means that actually we've paid for the investment, which is really important. But what it then shows is his colleagues go, oh wow, this guy has done it, so I must follow suit. So we train people. We also reassure people. But what we hope they do is they see it as another, I call it an arrow in your quiver, right? It's another tool that you have to make more sales in our perspective. For us, it's not about do we remove people from our processes. It's actually, can we get them to do more, right? Can they earn more? In some areas of the business, there probably will be, AI will impact, and there will be impact on jobs. There's no doubt in that. I think what we've got to do as organisations is see, okay, can we redeploy those people? Can they be, as you said, be trained? Can they be reassigned into a different role where we've given them the opportunity to actually have those skills? So I think there's a win-win for everybody. But I think in some pockets there will be reductions in the workforce for sure. But it's how do we train and how do we bring those people into different roles?
I'll add a perspective on change. We all live in the world today where change is so constant. In fact, I think the pace of change is not going to be slow again, right? Whether it was cloud or mobile, every time there has been technology evolution, there's always that reluctance or there's always a skepticism of what that change is going to mean and how that change is going to be perceived. And I think we're going through that revolution phase today. It's not just an incremental change of technology. It certainly feels like this is a new way for us to have humans and agents in doing so many other things. We spoke about recruitment. I know I spoke to you about how we are using it on our own pipeline management or website, or the use cases are consistently evolving. But I would say that we're living in an era where learning and therefore adapting has become table stakes for everybody. I mean, everybody in the room, we're all going to have to experiment and we're all going to have to learn technology as well. And Salesforce actually is pioneering that focus on AI upskilling as well. We've committed to $310 million globally for AI upskilling. And a lot of, so if you, I definitely encourage all of you to look at Trailhead as well. It's a learning platform that everybody should be leveraging on what's new and investment. So for us, making sure that we are not just talking about what is coming in a product suite, but also making sure that we have future-ready skill available in the market, that we are making sure that we're also focused on AI upskilling is really the focus.
So specifically within my organizations, what we have actually seen is we've now used AI to automate a lot of the mundane tasks. As an example, so within the solution engineering team, we do a lot of research on customers, their financial statements, their analyst presentation. A lot of those tasks used to take a few hours at least in a day. And now the team is able to use AI to actually accelerate a lot of those insights, because of which now the team has become a lot more effective in the way they actually talk to our customers. So what we are actually seeing is a big shift from doing mundane tasks to a lot of the focus being on the relationship and adding value to the conversation.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Supriya here from Tech Achieve Media. Hi, Richard.
Hello.
Richard, firstly, congratulations on this collaboration with Salesforce, right? It's great that it's helped you improve the efficiency of your salespeople. However, I'd like to understand how, would you say, do you see AI agents becoming the primary sales engine over the upcoming years? And Deepak, I have a question for you as well. Agentic AI has the access to the data of the company, right? And that's how they function efficiently. How real would you say are concerns that they would be able to influence or manipulate customers?
A great question, and you're right. What we've seen from data perspective is that 95% of the projects that people were doing are not making it to production. And people feel free to add more to it. But a lot of it, I think, when a new technology like Agentforce came in, a lot of it was experimentation. A lot of our customers were doing it themselves, figuring things out, bringing their own models, so it was very DIY model, and there was almost a rush to get, there was almost a rush to try it out. Whether it was the fear of missing out or, lots of conversation, are we moving too fast, the technology itself was evolving. I think a lot of that is now settled in, right? Like if you look at where, there's obviously a conversation, it's a board conversation, every board's having a conversation about what is the impact of AI that you were seeing in the businesses, but it's gone beyond from an experimentation perspective to see where does it make sense for us to have the right AI interventions, like Richard was just explaining. Where does it make sense for us to have the right interventions? Does it make sense for us to do DIY without the trust and without the guardrails, without the risk exposure that you might have? Or does it make sense for us to partner with organizations like Salesforce, which are investing in the innovation to make sure that the technology itself is secure, right? Because that itself was a big part of the concern. So we've seen that whole conversation shift from that experimentation to why, I think customers are aware of why they weren't able to go into production, and therefore if they were wanting to take advantage of this new technology, new revolution really, what will it take for them to move forward? So I think that's really where the shift is, but you want to...
No, I think you covered it. The first version of the whole AI was more about summarizing the information, right? It's about aggregating information from different sources. And if you look at the next stage, it was more about understanding and reasoning.
We're seeing growth, if I look at our portfolio, we're certainly seeing growth across, right? Whether what you even look at from a GDP perspective, what's happening in the Indian economy and all the same sectors that you will hear about. So we're seeing growth really spread across. I think the appetite for agentic interventions is also real because the use cases will vary. With, as an example, for recruitment will be different than financial services versus a retail consumer good or a bank or a pharma. The use cases will vary, but we're seeing a really interesting uptake of technology and overall agentic. So it's difficult for me to pick one.
Thank you very much.